Hello and welcome to Americarnage. It's Wednesday, the 26th of November, 2014. And guess what, Iron Mike?
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Absolutely right, my friend. 10 points and a cigar for Carlson. No Hollywood Dan Louw this week. Yeah!
What?
Yeah, no Hollywood Dan, Maurice Claybourne, all pro.
Oh, what was that? I knew I heard another voice in this room.
You did. All pro, Maurice Claybourne, comedian, actor, friend of the show. Hi, mate.
Hello. I've made the mistake of talking before I'm introduced.
Yes,
okay.
you did. That's a Mike, also
That's
known in the
not
business as a
that's
Carlson.
not the last mistake you'll make tonight.
You did a Carlson.
I'm going to get off with Mike.
Yeah, the first one was probably showing up here tonight. That was your first mistake.
Is that your come on, Mike? That's not the last mistake you'll make tonight.
I've got the touch. I've got the touch.
Boy. Oh, boy. Good to have you with us, Maurice. It's been a while.
Thanks for having me.
What's been going on in Planet Larwood? On Planet Larwood?
Well, it's a crazy planet, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
One of the reasons I've come on is...
Yes.
Well, this is quite incredible, what I've done. I've only invented a brand new sport.
What?
Yeah.
You've invented a brand new sport?
Serious.
Whoa. That's the name of it?
Serious would be a great name.
Serious.
That could be the name of the cup that you could win, the Sirius Cup.
Well, what I did, I was in the pub. I mean, most people, when they go to the pub and they talk about ideas, they just think, oh, well, that was just drunk talk. I'm not going to do anything with that. That's embarrassing. But we're talking about how no mainstream successful sport has been created in the last 100 years. And I thought, I'm not doing much work at the moment. Why don't I make up my own sport?
Right.
So we looked at lots of names of sports ending in ball, and they'd all been taken, which was the hardest thing to come up with a name.
That's the first thing you did, is look for the name.
Yeah.
Of course.
And we decided to call it Wolfsball.
Say that again?
Volfs Ball.
Okay.
Because it's such a weird name, you could get a really cheap website for it.
Very good point. So
Plus,
you've got
it sounds
Wolfsball.com is already listed.
I've got it, and I've
Wow.
got it for £20.
Amazing.
For a whole year until it gets stolen from me.
That's 99%, I guess, of the objective is to get the name and the domain name sorted.
Yeah, so you've got that. I've already made a huge saving on that. And then what it is it's three-a-side. There's no three-a-sides.
That's right. Good point.
Other rules are, first rule is there's no dickheads allowed in it.
That would rule us out, mate.
Yeah.
Well, most people are. But because my problem was listening to a lot of NFL stuff and American stuff. You know, when they do the bit when they record them, they mic up players for games.
Yes.
And you listen back to it and you realise that a lot of the players are dicks.
Okay. So what? Just to be clear on that, is that your phone? Do you want to answer that?
It's my iPod's playing.
Time for your. What's it playing? What song was that?
It's actually playing Kim Wilde's "Kids in America."
Oh, good tune.
If you,
I thought you said no dicks were allowed in it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's an appropriate.
So what it is, it's a three-a-side. It's a circular game. So in the middle, there's a prism, which is about 6 foot high of the pitch.
Okay.
The middle circle is about 2 meters wide. There's a prism, and there's a hoop at the top of it.
Yep.
And the prism spins when you hit it with a ball. Mm-hmm. And you get 1 point for throwing it at the prism, 2 points for kicking at the prism, and 3 points for heading it at the prism.
Okay.
But if you get the ball through the hoop like a basketball hoop, then you get 5 points for throwing it through.
What kind of ball are we talking about?
It's a size 2 football. My dad made a prototype of it. I went back to the Isle of Wight and I tested it with him. Just two aside, me against him. It's a pretty embarrassing video of me and a 67-year-old man running around the park.
To see that,
So there's a middle circle no one's allowed in where the prism's in. Then there's a 3 metre diameter wide outside of that defending circle. Then outside that is the attacking circle. And you've got to pass it round. You've got 20 seconds to try and hit the ball and get the rebound back. You don't have to step out of your circle.
Okay, so
it's quite complicated.
So it's a combination of handball and that game the Aztecs played where the losers, like, they pulled their hearts out and fed them to their children.
I mean, if people get killed at the end of it, all the better.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and launch a sport. The bad thing is I realised that my dad made a prototype. I need to get a phone prototype. It's going to cost me about $1,000 to do. But why not waste your life creating a new sport?
In one sense, you could think his dad also made a prototype of Merrick.
Well, that's a reasonable point. It is a reasonable point. So he's got history.
I'm going to get my dad to impregnate women to make all the future players.
Well, I'd like to go back to that point. Because
a tough job, but someone has to do it.
Well, right. No dickheads. So how is that? Is there a committee that determines?
I decide.
You're the committee.
I decide.
Right, okay.
And I'm thinking of having the first sport which allows you to take whatever performance-enhancing drugs you want.
Nice. Okay. That's allowed.
Negative ones. You can take performance-enhancing drugs.
Recreational drugs are allowed?
Any drug drugs. There's no drug testing.
Okay, so just to get this straight, try and summarise. So there is each team has 20 seconds possession, and then has
20 seconds to shoot like basketball.
Okay,
and if they get the rebound, it comes back to them. They can carry on doing
an extra 20 seconds when it comes back to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I probably need to show you a video of it. But if you go to vulsball.com or follow me at vulsball, then you'll get updates of this terrible failure of a sport that I'm going to create.
It sounds great. And I think if you need to raise money to get it off the ground, are you doing any kind of crowdsourcing?
No, you thought of that.
You should think about that. Maybe the Carnage family will put money in.
I'm going to make button badges and T-shirts to sell. I'm wearing my because that's what Americarnage do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. Go to americarnage.co.uk, go to the shop and buy stuff. Christmas is coming up.
That's great. Christmas is coming up, and we've got some nice looking
hoodies.
We've
got some good
I'm wearing my Americarnage T-shirt today.
Yes, you
and
are.
I've got to say it washes nicely.
Thank you, Mark. That's good to hear.
You wash them?
It's good to
Well,
hear.
the amount of stainage I get on mine is really
I thought Harry put a thing that says recommended not wash.
He did, but it washed off. Hey, Harry, how much do we have in the Americanage bank account?
Exactly £1,000.
Well, we might have to help you, Matt. It might come some
you
kind
want
of
£5 or £6 I'm looking for.
How much steak will we get? It's a bit like Dragon's Den. How much?
I'll give you some advertising.
Yeah.
And we're talking business ideas now.
Yeah,
it's not always
let's talk shop.
Steak, you owe me a steak dinner.
I do owe Mike a steak dinner. I bet Mike that the Dolphins have beat the Broncos, which is a stupid bet.
That's a terrible bet.
It was.
Well, I don't know.
Not if you're an Argentinian cow, it wasn't.
Yeah, it kind of went to my head. I felt like Mike needed a good steak dinner, so I was kind of the sympathy overrided any kind of sense. So, Marek, wolfsball.com.
Yeah.
Set up some sort of crowdsourcing, and then we'll let the Carnage faithful know. And if they want to,
I've got to make my dad's spoken to some engineers about making the prototypes. I'll find out how much it's going to cost me, and then I'm going to hold a world championships next year. So potentially,
the Prism.
Prism, yeah. Potentially, you could be a world champion.
Wow.
Well, does the Prism refract light?
Yeah, that would be great if it did.
Prisms do.
That's going to put the cost up quite a lot.
Yeah, true.
Because I was thinking, if you could get the light through, you could make like bullseyes on the wall, and if you get the light onto the bullseyes, you get bonus points.
Oh, interesting. Well, okay. Mike and I definitely want the gig of covering it when you get the TV rights as well.
I mean, this could be the Americanage's new sport, Wolfsball.
I love it. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that is why we're here. Other than talk Wolfsball, American sports is the primary reason why this show exists.
What?
I thought promoting Marek's latest videos was our main idea.
Secondary reason. Reason. NFL, I can't even think what other sports we're going to do. Baseball, NBA,
hockey.
And hockey too. The Bodeans Mailbag.
Bodeans.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it is Marek's. Nice work, Mike, but it's kind of Marek's first.
If he wants
first
to,
dibs.
he can.
I think so. I think he is our guest. And we've got some good, cracking questions in there as well. We're going to start, though, as we often do, with 3 points. This is where each of us picks up something that isn't necessarily sporting related, although it can be, and recommends it, something we think you guys should check out. So, Marek, I guess I've
done mine,
kind of done
yours.
Yeah, unless you want to throw anything else.
That was a long one.
It was a long 3 point, but we'll take it as your 3 point. Mike, have you got
I'm tempted to recount my meetings with a blind date at lunchtime today, but
date
I won't.
Stores. Oh, come
because
on.
I've been watching Homeland, the new series of Homeland.
How's that going?
In which Carrie goes to
that's the Claire Danes character.
Pakistan. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's actually pretty good. I mean, getting.
You sound surprised.
Well, yeah, because it got progressively worse as it went along, and it became the 2-person story became just kind of boring.
Yeah.
But here you've got trouble in the embassy. You've got potential defectors. You've got real problems with the Pakistan intelligence organizations and who they're working for. And I like it. The more complicated it gets, the better a program like this gets.
Yeah.
And if you can get it away from her and her neuroses,
yeah,
it becomes a much better show.
Yeah. Much like this one, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get us away from our neuroses.
Yeah.
So you'll give it the Carlson thumbs up.
So a qualified thumbs up, but
okay.
It's good. So I'm watching that and the new series of the fall, which Dan and I talked about last week. So I won't bring that one up yet until the new series is over, and then Dan and I can take that one apart too.
Sounds romantic.
Absolutely.
What, take
nothing
it apart?
like watching TV with Dan.
Yeah, that's a
which
fair
I've
point.
never done, so there is nothing like it.
Now we've got a lot of tweets in for the Bodeans Mailbag.
Bodeans.
And a few emails too. If you want to get in touch with the show, you're on social media, Twitter at Americarnage. Facebook is Americarnage, facebook.com/Americarnage. But if you're not on social media and you all right, Mike?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I did get a text after having this cup of coffee with this woman.
We're back to that. Okay.
And it said, it was great meeting you. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think we can agree that there was no spark there. So yeah, wish you best of luck. And I was thinking, well, I don't know why this is an agree situation. You know, if you think there's no spark, then my agreement doesn't matter one way or the other. So okay, if you want to think we agree,
how should
then
he
you can agree?
Well, I would say I thought there was even less of a spark because I wasn't even going to email you back in the first place.
Trying to
They're trying to seize the power.
Yeah, but see, I guess I'm just too much of a nebbish.
Or you could write, it's a shame because I've still got a boner.
Definitely write that.
That's a more Iron Mike kind of response.
Definitely write that. If you want to get in touch with the show via our website, if you're not on social media, then you can. Americarnage.co.uk, which has got all the shows on there if you want to listen to the back catalogue. And as I say...
160 of them.
Yeah, bloody hell. We've been rolling for a while. And buy the merch. That helps keep the show going. We're a non-for-profit organisation.
That's the truth.
Oh yeah,
that wasn't intentional though, was it?
Yeah, that wasn't. Well, we were supposed to make money out of it. Well, Harry gambles most of it away.
You give money to charity as well, don't you?
Yeah, loads.
Yeah, I mean, any of you who are really pissed off
with
Save the Children giving Tony Blair an award, send the money.
Justified award. Now somebody's got in touch with the Bodeans Mailbag.
Bodeans.
Sorry,
and Mike, I think it is for you. It's come through the website and the button on there, and the opening gambit is. Actually, technically, it has an issue number, which is interesting. Issue number 82309. If you're one of the millions of Americans, and that's why I think it must be for Mike because it doesn't relate to us, Marek. We're one of the millions of Americans who suffer from visual problems such as myopia and hyperopia. Then this video will shock you. And shock in capital letters. It promises to 100% naturally and safely cure almost any visual problem. Why your glasses and contacts are in fact worsening your eye conditioning, and the real truth in capital letters about the eye care industry. So that's a really interesting link. Harry, have we clicked on that link?
I tried to, but no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we won't post that on the Americanage page.
You know, everyone knows glasses make your eyes worse because they become dependent on the glasses.
On the glasses, that's a fair point.
I can't see this at all.
Interesting, but thank you very much, Vision Restored, for your message to the Bodeans Mailbag. Hey, keeping up with my films, talking about films that came out 10 years ago. The Good Shepherd I saw the other day.
Robert
De Niro directed it. And it's all about the formation of the CIA. And
Matt Damon
is in it. Angelina Jolie. Great return from Michael Gambon in it as well. Good cast. And it was interesting. I read it, watched it, and then read the reviews afterwards. And the reviews seem to be by and large. This came out 10 years ago, but it's doing the rounds. I think it's on Netflix, which is why I saw it. Seemed to be pretty critical. 2-3 star reviews, very sort of sour. I thought it was terrific, and I thought it was very understated, very measured film. And I thought it was very well directed. I didn't even realise De Niro directed it.
It's very
The
slow.
credits. Yeah, I like that.
Probably too slow, and the personal story becomes somewhat unbelievable. I think, or.
See, I don't
think Matt Damon aged very well.
I totally agree with that. That's the biggest flaw in it, that he looks exactly the same age all the way through, whereas everyone else around him is aging.
Yeah. How many sheep are in it?
Let me think. There was the bath. 7. So there you go. Good Shepherd. That's my 10-year-old.
It's worth watching.
It is worth a watch, definitely.
There was another one with Alfred Molina was in. Which came out about the same time and was pretty good. I think it was a made-for-TV movie. It's based on a Robert Littell novel called The Company. It was called The Company.
There you go.
So you watch the two together. They're kind of a muchness.
Okay. Here's a quick one from Darren. Where will the team be spending Christmas? Well, obviously we can't ask Dan at the moment. Harry, where are you spending Christmas?
On a beach in Central America.
Interesting. How's he going to afford that, Mike?
That's why our budget why the Americarnage
good point.
Treasure chest.
It's taken 4 years to save up enough for the taxi fare to the airport.
What about you, Marek? Where are you going to spend Christmas?
I'm going to go back to the Isle of Wight, where I'm from.
Developing Wolfsport, I guess.
Yes, it'll be. I mean, there'll be hardly any Christmas celebrations. It'll be just me and my father and the children he spawned.
Is it like Olympians? When you talk to Olympians, they say, even on Christmas Day, I was up at 4 a.m. running.
Why do when I think of Marek and his father? Why do I have this image of Boris Johnson and his father?
Well, because Marek does a great Boris Johnson impression. That's probably what it is.
That's true. That's probably true.
And they're both very Boris Johnson's a very virile man. Very dangerously virile.
Dangerously virile. Is Marty Feldman your dad?
Marty, because he's got poppy out eyes.
He's a little bit like you.
Where are you going to be at Christmas?
I'm in London with the family. Yeah, my folks who live in France most of the time are over They come over for Christmas. So it's a big family shit there. Can't wait. Very excited. Very romantic about Christmas. Alrighty then, let's get some NFL moving. Mike, are you ready for that?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Football is my favorite sport. Now let me tell you about the rules. You throw the ball onto your butt, and then you kick him in the family jewels.
Last weekend was a tough one for coaches, including Mike Smith, who seems to be auditioning for a place in Dolly's painting The Persistence of Memory. It certainly doesn't persist for him, because just a month after gifting the Lions with a timeout they needed to beat Atlanta at Wembley, Smith did the exact same thing again, leaving Cleveland enough time to kick a game-winning field goal by calling his own timeout with 55 seconds left before his team could kick a field goal. Will he never learn? Rex Ryan helped build the case against his coaching the Jets next year by contriving to lose 38-3 to a Buffalo team playing in Detroit without having practiced all week. Practice? We don't need no stinking practice. Tom Coughlin stood by helplessly as the Giants lost to Dallas, increasing speculation he'll be gone after the season. Oakland got their first win of the season on Thursday against Kansas City. Cincinnati won on the road in Houston. Ryan Mallett injured and out for the season. Green Bay managed to nip Minnesota. San Francisco managed to nip Washington. Denver managed to nip Miami. And San Diego managed to nip St. Louis, who didn't nip back. New England trounced Detroit, Merrick. Excuse me, did you hear that? New England trounced Detroit, Merrick.
Yes, I heard it.
Baltimore won in New Orleans, and Seattle got the only touchdown in a 19-3 slugfest win over Arizona, which sets us up for a great Thanksgiving with 8-3 Philadelphia at 8-3 Dallas, 7-4 Seattle at 7-4 San Francisco. And, oh yeah, Odell Beckham caught a pass.
Did he?
Yeah.
Was it any good?
It was okay, yeah. It's not bad.
It wasn't bad. Did you like the Odell Beckham catch, Marek?
It was incredible. But a lot of their highlight videos just show the catch.
Yeah.
And they don't show the fact it was like a 50-yard bomb.
Yes, sure.
So you just see him catching it and think, oh, that looks...
Yeah, and Brandon Carr was all over him just before he
caught it. If you see Manning launch it,
Yeah.
it's all the more impressive.
Well, firstly, Mike, thank you for a terrific roundup as usual. We've got to start with the Lions, seeing as Marek's in the house and resplendent in his Lions hoodie, which over his Americarnage, the aforementioned Americarnage t-shirt. Interesting season for your Lions, isn't it? What's going on?
What's incredible is at the start of the season, the Lions' secondary is pretty much non-existent. They've not really been tested because the defensive front seven is amazing.
Yeah.
Even though Fairley's out injured, Levy's playing amazing at linebacker. Sue is unstoppable. This is the last chance for Lions because Sue's out of contract, Fairley's out of contract. Sue's going to go somewhere.
Megatron's going to go as well, isn't he? They're saying.
I think they're going to keep. They can't get rid of all of them.
No.
I think Megatron will stay, although he's been playing sort of injured. And their offense of what seemed to be the last few seasons, watching has been really exciting because there were big scoring games. Stafford, although erratic, would have there's always a deep threat.
Yeah.
The offense is just not firing at all. They've got, I think it's Joe Lombardi's the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And the play calling's really sort of conservative. We haven't scored in the last two games. We don't look like scoring. Stafford was supposed to be, Caldwell was supposed to be sort of quarterback guru to help all our previous quarterbacks. Stafford just doesn't seem to be firing on all cylinders.
It's funny because, and I don't necessarily believe it's cause and effect, but since Megatron's come back, Stafford seems to have reverted back to his old thing of throw it up for Megatron to get, not and make bad throws on other passes to other people. And the thing that amazed me in the Patriots game was it was pretty obvious what the Patriots were doing.
Yeah.
And they were making it tough for him to throw to his two best receivers. But he kept on throwing to them. He wasn't checking down. He wasn't looking for his tight ends. He wasn't looking for a third receiver or a back out of the backfield. He just kept trying to force the ball to Tate or to Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, I think
it did not work.
People have figured out Golden Tate from this. I mean, he had an amazing start to the season. It's been brilliant, especially those yards after the catch. But I think it goes down to our tight end problem. And Pettigrew wasn't the tight end we thought we were going to get. We drafted Eric Ebron this year. Which I was really upset about. And considering the amount of calibre of great receivers that have come through, he's a sort of stellar year.
What pick did you have?
He was pick 8.
8. So you could have had Sammy. Watkins go ahead?
Watkins went 4th.
They could have had,
I
could have had wide receivers.
I thought they were going to.
Watkins. That's right.
They were going to trade up and get Evans because I thought Evans was for college tape I saw, he looked amazing. And now he's starting to prove it later on in the season. But even later on, you see the amount of receivers have gone. I really like John Brown at Arizona's good.
Yeah.
But any one of those would be far more.
They could have had Brandon Cooks. They could have had Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham as well.
Odell
he was
Beckham,
there.
obviously.
So we've got a really poor.
But I
thought
that they were going to draft Aaron Donald.
Oh, really?
And so they would have a replacement for either Sue or Fairley when he left.
One of them got suspended.
Thinking 1 year ahead, basically.
Well, I think what's sad is this is the last. I think we're going to go into, as any Detroit fans know, we collapsed at the end of the season.
Yeah.
We played Arizona and New England, so potentially the two best teams, other than the Packers.
Yeah.
And we've got the Bears. We should beat the Bears. Should beat the Buccaneers.
Short week, obviously, for both.
But they're at home, which helps.
I don't think knowing Detroit, they'll find some way of losing, but I still think they'll get the wild card. I think the Packers are on fire at the moment. I think they're going to walk. I think they're going to win the NFC. The Packers get home field advantage.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get.
You've got the Bears. Card. You've got the Bears twice,
and we've got Bears, Vikings, and Buccaneers. So we should potentially get. It's whether 10-6 is going to be enough.
Yeah,
for that, and I think it might be because I think San Francisco and Seattle are playing each other twice.
Yeah,
Cowboys and Philadelphia both got 2 matchups. So I think 10-6 should just.
It's not going to come
through.
From the South. We know that, right?
Yeah.
So it's whether. The team that doesn't win the East, which will probably be the Eagles. You assume the Cowboys will win the East.
I think I've got to pick the Cowboys this week.
Well, they're playing each other, so this week will decide it probably.
Yeah.
But they're both 8-3, so you'd imagine the 10-6 wild card at least will come from there.
Yeah.
So there'll be one more up for grabs. It should be enough. It should be enough. And but with that running, I think you'll get.
I think it will. But I just think I'm surprised how bad the offense is when you've got all those weapons. Reggie Bush has been injured as well, but we've got a load of running backs. I just think it's bad play calling.
We've got a question for you, Marek, from Darren. Thanks for getting in touch with us via the Bodeans Mailbag.
Bodeans.
Bodeans.
Thank you. Double whammy. Should Detroit trade Stafford, or does Marek still have faith in him?
I mean, a year ago, I would have said he's got all this talent. Maybe he's only 26, but he's had 6 seasons now.
Yeah.
I don't think I think they're going to keep him. He's there. He can do. What has made with Stafford, everyone's frustrated with their own quarterback, I'm sure. He can pull off throws that no one else can do.
Yes.
And yet they're relatively simple. He just misses some, or he doesn't read the defense and throws them into some awful, not just like tipped interception, but literally straight into the hands of opposition. So
he's quite like Jay Cutler in that respect, isn't he, Mike?
I think he's better than Jay Cutler.
He's got the goods, but he just maddening things.
I think you're both right. What you just said, similar but better.
Yeah. Okay. In terms of what we were chatting about before the start of the show, Marek,
they both depend on their arm strength to try to make up for the fact that they don't see things quickly enough. So then they're trying to force the ball in to tight windows, basically.
Yeah. Brett Favre style. He was guilty of that.
For those of you at the moment who are listening and wondering where Nat is, it's because he's 16 feet from the microphone.
Sorry. Marek, we were chatting before the show about the golf in class between the AFC and the NFC this season.
It's incredible. It was the first time in years the AFC is the stronger division. I mean, you look at the AFC. I would get mixed up. I can call it the Central. Yeah. With
Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Cincinnati.
Yeah, that is an incredible division. Yeah. All on 7-4.
They could all.
And I each team, when Pittsburgh played their best, when Roethlisberger had those couple of amazing games,
500 yarders.
They looked phenomenal. And he looked so calm. The way he just talks to his receivers and he's having a laugh with them, talking to them. I've got utmost respect for him. But his offensive line seems to have had a few bit of trouble recently. I'm not sure who they played. But who's going to come out of that? There's going to be a lot of good teams that don't make the playoffs from the AFC.
The Ravens probably they're looking like you like the Ravens for the North, don't you?
Yeah.
But it's a good point. I mean, I've been on the Browns all season, and Josh Gordon's back now, and look, he slotted right back in over 100 yards, and there are a few moments when he wasn't, syncing up properly, but that's understandable being out. Hoyer, and it's something that Mike and I have talked about on the Channel 4 shows, is wildly inconsistent, but quite calm in the clutch. The game-winning drive. He's capable of getting it done. In other words, he's not bad enough to, I think, jeopardise their chances. Is one way of damning with faint praise. So I like the Browns. I think the Browns could do it.
Yeah, the tough thing in that division is that Cincinnati have a game with Denver in the next to the last week. Otherwise, they mostly play each other, and everybody else seems to have easier games in the non-divisional matchups. So I think that's going to be almost the key game for Cincinnati.
What's the Browns running?
Well, like I said, they mostly play each other. They have Indianapolis, after this week.
Yeah.
They have Indianapolis, then they play Cincinnati in another Ohio derby.
Yeah.
Then Carolina, which they ought to win, and then they end at Baltimore.
Yeah.
So
and they got the Bills this weekend, which is winnable.
which is winnable for them. Yeah.
I think the Bills are really good defensively. I was really impressed with them. I just think that if it depends, I don't think Orton's, what they're going to do at quarterback. I don't know. And they've had their running back injuries as well. It's fascinating. I think I'm interested in Cleveland as well. Are they going to stick with Hoyer? Because obviously Mansell's got trade value. Are they going to stick with Hoyer next season?
Question.
And they're going to trade, because obviously it's a quarterback hungry, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is he going to go somewhere else? I'm going to take a punt on him.
They could trade Hoyer, of course.
They could hope Hoyer does well and trade him if that's what they want from Manziel, or they can wait until they give a chance to sort of showcase Manziel by letting him play. But that's a risk, because if he isn't very good, then his trade value sort of disappears.
Yeah, quite. So I think that could go either way, couldn't it? Speaking of quarterbacks that could be on the move, RG3, of course, benched by Washington, and a lot of people think that could be the end of the road. Jerry Jones said he's interested in RG3.
Yeah, but my suggestion was that they trade him for Scott Tolzien.
Just trade RG3.
Yeah, because then their three quarterbacks would be Scotty, McCoy, and Kirk.
Bones.
Yeah, Bones. It would be Bones. Yeah, so Kirk Cousins should be captain. His nickname should be Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
And there are no quarterbacks named Spock, unfortunately.
We should try and sort that out.
Unless you bring Don Strock back.
Don Strock, and just misspell his name.
So what do you think's happened with RG3 then?
Well, it's a good point. And somebody, Jamie Garwood, here you go. Hi, Jamie Garwood. Hi, Jamie. Long-time friend of the show. Does the crash and burn of RG3 rival that of Ryan Leaf?
Well, no, because RG3 had a very successful rookie season.
Yes.
This goes back first off to injury.
Yeah.
And secondly, now to an inability of, I wanted to say, of his new coach to get an offense that suits him. The problem is no offense suits him because he's absolutely awful in the pocket. He's getting out of the pocket before there's any pressure. He's not making his basic reads, so therefore he's missing open receivers who he could throw to, and instead he's tucking the ball, he's moving, and then throwing to someone who's covered. Every time. It's unbelievable.
What is it though? Because he looked spectacular in that first season. Is it coaching? Yeah. Is it the offense?
Well, no. I think it begins with his injury.
Yeah.
And I think he's just not physically able to do the sort of things that made him successful, which was basically movement, not necessarily running, but the threat of running and his ability to throw on the run. I don't think he can throw on the run, and I don't think he probably wasn't the best pocket passer in the world in the NFL sense of getting your reads properly and making the simple throw, the easy read. But now he seems to also be gun shy in terms of contact, as if his body is afraid that taking a hit in the pocket is going to ruin his knee forever or whatever. And I think he needs to be taken to a quarterback guru who takes him apart and puts his whole game back together again. And it won't be the same game as the RG3 who came out of Baylor.
And this is why in the draft he had the combine, isn't it? Why everyone's reluctant to go for that running back quarterback sort of college.
Yeah, and I think we said that when we discussed it here on Americarnage. I said, who would you take, Luck or RG3? I said I'd take Luck.
Yeah,
because he fits the NFL profile better.
Yeah.
And RG3 has to go to a team that will use him well, which the Shanahans did, in fairness. But by doing that, they exposed him to injury. And this is the same problem with Manziel.
Sure.
I don't think you can depend on Manziel at this stage to be a pure pocket passer.
Have a long-time career. There's a good piece on NFL.com by Greg Rosenthal looking at the numbers involved here. Griffin's due $3.267 million in 2015, which is a relatively low number for a quarterback, which means that there could be quite a few suitors for him. They would be willing to take the punt on that. He makes the point, well documented, 3 first-round draft picks and a second-round pick is what they gave up to get him. Whereas now they'd probably be lucky to get a second-round pick for him.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Here's the really interesting number, I think, anyway. Griffin's 2016 player option, which the Redskins have to decide by May the 3rd of next year. So May the 3rd, 2015, if they're going to take the 5th-year option, which is going to be in the region of $18 million, so a kind of golf away.
So he's gone.
Yeah,
they can't exercise the option.
I think so.
It'd be funny if the Rams got him, so they got all those picks and Griffin as well.
Just to piss them off, that would be great.
That would be like draft day.
Oh yeah, exactly like Draft Day. Yeah.
One of the worst films I've ever seen.
Draft. Oh, it was, yeah. You know what? With Matt, we were talking. I don't know if we spoke about this on Americarnage or not, but Mike and I were chatting about it. That the entire film is based on the most absurd. The opening scene, or pretty much the opening scene, is one of the most absurd I've ever seen. In the sense that they're sitting around the night before the draft to go, what should we do with the number one pick? Because if they hadn't thought about that before.
It's a film about people making phone calls.
Yeah.
That is it.
What it is. I love Costner. But
so
that
was
is
Phone Booth.
A Costner too far. That's true. Costner, that was, who was in Phone Booth?
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, that's right. Here's one from Chris. Oh, Chris Head, friend of the show. Which athlete would the gang most like to see in a sitcom? Which athlete would the gang most like to see in a sitcom?
That's a good...
Gronk.
You like a Gronk would be yes. Yeah. I'd quite like to see Belichick. It's a sort of deadpan.
The Belichicks.
Just deadpan.
Hey,
Rogers will be a good actor.
Head coach knows best.
That's it. Who would actually be good in it? Yeah,
Rogers, in his adverts, I don't know how many, I want to see how many takes, because I have Game Pass, so you watch all the American adverts, and you've got his discount double check advert.
Yeah.
How many takes it take for him to do a good take?
Well,
kind of much, because it must cost them loads of money to have them in there. So we've got for about an hour.
You've got Aaron for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does it quite well.
He in the Tom Wigglesworth film, the great little mini film.
Brilliant, isn't it? Yeah,
he's good fun in that. So he'd be up for it. That's a good shout. Well, if you have any thoughts on that throughout the show, gang, let me know.
How about Vince Wilfork?
He was the first name that crossed my mind. Yeah, Wilfork could be. Wilfork and his. Would it be an extended
have
family
you ever seen
piece?
him? Have you ever seen some of the home videos, like Vince barbecuing for the family?
Yes.
And so, like, with this gigantic.
Of course it is.
It is. Yeah. I mean, when he hauls ass, he needs to make 2 trips.
Or it could be Danny Woodhead, and he lives in a model village.
Oh,
Just all tiny little houses.
Danny Amendola comes to visit.
Danny,
Where's
hi
Welker?
Danny.
It's just all the little guys.
They're all there. And they're all, elves. They're Santa's elves.
Santa's elves.
Mayor is
That would be good.
Mayor of that town is God, my mind's gone blank. What's his name? Doug Flutie. Mayor Flutie.
And Greg Rosenthal and Mike Reese would be the reporters.
They would be the reporters. Here's a long email from Paul L. Hi, Paul. Who incidentally is called Paul Long by the look of the rest of his email address. There you go. Hello,
his
guys.
email address is actually
Paul Long.
Oh no, Paul L.
Plong.
Yeah, wasn't Paul L.
Can you call him
Superman's
Plong?
father?
Could be. Plong. Hi, Plong. He says, hello, guys. First time writing, but fan of the show. Oh, that's always nice to hear. Finally decided to type out my thoughts on the international series. He's not a fan of the international series, ultimately. He thinks it's a cynical money-making. I'm sort of paraphrasing, obviously, here. He's a big Bears fan. But this is what he says about it. The reason is that he doesn't think a London team is going to work because he knows a lot of people who go to one of the games at the moment, but it's a lot of money to travel down south. And they said they wouldn't go every week. And that's really the key, isn't it? That there's a huge difference between 3 or 4 games and 8 games if they're all going to be in London, Mike. So is there a possibility that if there is a UK franchise that the team will move around a bit?
I doubt it. That was tried with the Monarchs, although obviously not to the world's biggest venues.
Yeah.
But I think that you have to associate the team with a city, and you will
as opposed to a country
of necessity lose some fans as a result.
But that's the point, isn't it? Does an NFL team in the UK have to be associated with the city, or do we treat the NFL Nation as the kind of countrywide? We'll all support the UK team.
Well, yeah, and we've talked about this before because everyone has their own teams already.
Yeah.
So that what I could see would be you get some fans of the London franchise, and you get some fans who will go to see 8 American football games a season, and then you hopefully will get people who come in to see the teams that are playing.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Jaguars thing as an experiment hasn't really. I've only been to non-Jaguar games. I can't really say, but I've not seen very many Jaguar shirts there.
No. Although I suspect that they're picking up a few every time, new fans every time they make a trip. Just from
familiarity helps. Yeah. See, it'd be nice if Jacksonville was one of those cities you could get to direct from London for your holidays and things like Tampa is, for example.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
If I hadn't now my colours to the master of the Dolphins, I got into the NFL recently, or particularly my kids were interested in it, and I could easily see myself saying, yeah, let's follow Jacksonville. And also,
1 in 10. Let me in.
I wouldn't have an issue. Yeah,
you are a West Ham supporter, though.
Thank you. I wouldn't have an issue though with following two teams either.
I mean, it'd be hard if it depends what team it is. So if it was the same
division, that's true.
I mean, I'm a Detroit fan, and all those, and that's one of the oldest divisions, so they're not going to go in there. But
that's a good point.
If you're supporting a team for about 10, 15 years,
it goes in your division. I hadn't thought of that. Obvious point. No, it's good. It's a good one. Here's a message from Ethan via Twitter. Hi, Ethan. Incidentally, if you want to follow us on Twitter, at Carlson Sports, at Harry Dapp Producer, at Nat Coombs, at Marek Larwood, give Marek a Twitter bump. Ethan will, I'm sure, because he says, when can we see Marek do more We Are Clang stuff or stand-up? But obviously, he started out as a stand-up, and Clang was a hit live show you did on telly as well.
Hit live show, failed telly show. that's not friendly punches. Really good live.
And it won lots of awards. But it has a big cult following still, Clang. What are you up to comedy-wise, Marek?
I'm never going to do stand-up again because I can't think of anything
funny
worse.
We agree on this
or funny. And I think everyone who does it is mentally ill. And Clang is basically not happening because Greg Davis has gone off and he's a real success. And I am not.
You're on Carnage. You're one of the all-pro Carnage team. Come on.
I am doing a thing called Drunk History to Comedy Central, which is the American there's an American show where they get someone drunk and they tell a story about history, and they get actors to pretend to be all the roles.
Great.
So Will Ferrell's in the American one, and they're doing a British one of those.
So you're the British Will Ferrell?
Not really. So I'll be in that. I'll be in Comedy Central next year, and I'm doing a bit.
I'm not saying I agree with everything Bismarck did, but he did make the trains run on time.
You should be in it, Mike.
Get Mike drunk to do it. Michael would be great on it, actually.
Don't you need to get him drunk?
Just get him rambling.
Just call it Mike's Histories.
Mike's Histories. Will that get shown in the States as well?
No.
Should do.
And I'm also doing a bit in Man Down, which is a Greg Davis sitcom on Channel 4. No, my luck, I probably got cut out. I did a bit in the In-Betweeners film. Got cut out the film.
Cut out of the film.
Yeah.
When did you find out? When you went to see it?
I found out on my birthday when I saw Ian Morris in the pub, and I walked out and he went, "Hello," and I went, "Oh, it's my birthday." He went, "Oh, we just cut your scene out of the film."
Happy birthday!
Oh no!
I think my scene was cut out of the only comedy I ever did.
Really?
It was called Too Much Sun.
Well, you played
I played a sports announcer, an American sports announcer. I was on the television behind them in a bar.
Right.
Okay.
And I think it got cut out.
Oh, we should someone find that on YouTube. It would be great if
it was great.
The raw footage.
It's good that my bit got cut out because I basically played a fake person in hospital.
Yeah.
Where I had to go on. What's his name? The blonde-haired young guy. I can't remember his name.
Simon.
No,
Simon?
the other one. The one who's a bit of a wide boy, wears the England top.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the name, but I know who you mean. Yeah.
I had to pretend to basically wank him off underneath his hospital sheet. So people refer to me as
you could be Rebecca. You could be Rebecca Lewis.
Well, you could.
That's my next
It
stop.
may surprise you to know that I actually tried to increase my role by writing more stuff for it.
Doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Telling the writers, but that's not funny. This would be funny.
And they cut you out, Mike? Yeah. Hey, does that affect what you get paid if you get cut out in the film?
Yeah, I don't get paid any more money. Yeah.
They wanted me basically.
They don't pay you anymore.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing anymore.
They wanted basically for me to mispronounce the names of the British teams I was doing. And
right.
I said, well, why don't you do that? Why don't no? I said, well, yeah, Tottenham, fine, but why don't you stick in something like Reading?
Yeah,
I can say Reading.
Yeah,
that would be funnier.
Yeah.
And they looked at me with kind of funny looks,
TV execs.
Yeah. Well, producers.
Oh, but there you go.
No offense, Harry.
No offense, Harry.
Who would play you, Mike, in a film?
We've had this conversation.
Yeah,
no, but it's a good one because there's no definitive.
James Garner.
You see, Carlson thinks James. I think Walter Matthau would be a lock.
Yeah, Walter Matthau from
Can we get anyone
1, 2, 3? Young
Matthau.
Can we get anyone who's still alive?
Well, I think we're suspending reality here to cast you, Mike.
Yeah, but even so,
I could see Dean Martin doing it. I could see Dino pulling it off.
What about
on the film?
an American Christopher Biggins?
Yeah. Right, let's talk.
We should move on, I think.
Let's talk basketball. Marek, can you do some basketball?
Well, I've been watching a bit lately, yeah.
Yeah. What's been going on?
Well, Derrick Rose is continually getting injured for the Bulls. Yep. I think everyone's talking about the best teams being the Raptors, the Bulls and the Cavs. Raptors look pretty consistent from what I've seen. The Cavs haven't really fired, and I've watched a few of their games. they're not really fired in all cylinders. They can't really get that Kevin Love working properly with LeBron. The last game they started to pass it around more, and it was a sort of assist field when they played the Magic. It looked amazing. They haven't really found that chemistry yet, but I think they're the East is so weak. They should be able to sort of coast anyway. And there's some interesting teams coming out, like Sacramento Kings. Some teams you haven't heard of. For what, Denver Nuggets look all right as well. Steve Kerr, I remember when he used to play for the Bulls when I used to be into basketball.
Well, you're a Bulls fan, aren't you?
No. I haven't got a team really. I remember like the Grizzlies. But he's coaching the Golden State Warriors, who look pretty good. Memphis Grizzlies are being quite boring to watch. Defensive team doing pretty well. That's my basketball roundup. I watch it as a sort of fair weather fan.
Mike, is the point Matt made about Steve Kerr. Is there a kind of typical precedent that most head coaches or managers in the NBA are ex-players?
Ex-NBA players nowadays, that's kind of fallen off, I think. And I'm going back now and thinking, well, maybe it wasn't always, because in the early era, most of the guys weren't. The Red Auerbachs and Red Holtzmans and Alex Hannums. They hadn't been NBA top level players. Actually, no, they had. This is really making no sense at all.
This is an awesome episode of Americarnage.
But I think player coaches are a possibility in the NBA. I mean, they can't do it by rule, but there's no reason why you couldn't be a player coach.
Yeah. And who would be the best player coach?
Well, Steve Kerr would have been probably a good one, when he was a player. Steve Nash might be a good one. Tim Duncan might be a good one.
Doesn't LeBron sort of take that role in the Cavs a little bit?
In a Manning sort of way.
In a Manning sort of way, exactly.
What happened to player managers in football? Dalglish style player managers in Glenn Hoddle. You hardly ever see those now.
I don't know. Maybe they all got killed.
Great. Right, let's do some hockey. I'm Mike.
Okay.
Hey girl, we've been together for a long, long time now. Next week is my birthday and all. So I was thinking, what'd be really hot is if you grew a mullet, put on some skates and cross-check me into the bedroom wall. Oh, honey child, we're playing hockey now.
Montreal's Rene Burke scored 8 goals in last year's playoffs, but what had he done for the Habs lately? Off to a slow start, Burke had cleared waivers and been sent to Hamilton in the AHL, but instead of claiming him off waivers, Anaheim traded defenseman Brian Allen to Montreal for Burke. With Burke and Travis Moan both gone, the Habs save $5 million on their payroll next year, which may be why, according to Forbes magazine, they're one of 3 NHL teams worth $1 billion or more. The others, being the Maple Leafs, were number 1 with $1.3 billion, and the Rangers number 2 at $1.1 billion. The average worth of an NHL team is just under $500 million, and the Canadians are raking in money from a great TV deal with Rogers Communications. The San Jose Sharks traded defenseman Jason Demers and a third-round pick to Dallas for defenseman Brendan Dillon. You really care about that. The NHL filed a motion to dismiss a class action lawsuit filed in Minnesota claiming they failed to provide players with adequate protection and information about head injuries. The NHL argues that they have already addressed such issues with the Players Association, agreeing a $767 million settlement, that the statutes of limitations have passed, and that such information about the dangers of playing hockey was already in the public domain, since anyone who'd ever seen a hockey game would know that. And sad news to report, too, 2 deaths of great coaches. Viktor Tikhonov, who won 8 world championships, Olympic gold in 84, 88, and 92, and lost to the U.S. team in Lake Placid 4-3 in 1980. Also coached CSKA Moscow to 12 Soviet championships in a row, which was no great surprise because that was the national team, was all playing for the Red Army team. But he died and had a long career, first as a player with Soviet Air Force and then Dynamo Moscow, then a coaching assistant at Dynamo Moscow. Then he went to Dynamo Riga in Latvia, which is a big hockey area for Russia, and then taking over at CSKA in 1977. His son was a goaltending coach in the NHL, and his grandson, who was born in the States, has played in the NHL, but is back playing in the KHL right now. So his great enemies also became his great friends. And Pat Quinn, who as a defenseman in the pre-expansion NHL, played for Toronto and was best known for knocking out Bobby Orr with a check in the 1969 playoffs, sparking a near riot at the Boston Garden. was claimed twice in expansion drafts by Vancouver in 70 and Atlanta in 72. In his first season as head coach of the Flyers, he won 35 straight games but lost to the Islanders in an upset in the finals. Then came back from law school to coach the Kings, then became the president and general manager of the Kings, but was suspended, went to Vancouver and argued that his Kings contract was no longer valid, took Vancouver to the 94 finals, but again was upset by a New York team, the Rangers, then went to Toronto and then Edmonton, and then wound up coaching the Canadian team. In 2002, they won their first Olympic gold since 1952. In 2004, they won the World Cup, and then he coached the Canadian junior team who won the World Championships in 08-09. He dies with the fourth most wins of any coach in NHL history.
Sounds like he died of overworking, to be honest.
Yeah, Pat Quinn was an interesting guy because he took time off from hockey to go to law school, then came back to coach the Kings, then left for Vancouver, and the Kings basically sued him, and the NHL put him on suspension, saying he had jumped his contract with the Kings.
Was he at the Kings the same time as Wayne Gretzky?
Yes, briefly.
Well, how does it work in hockey in terms of player acquisition? Is it front office buys the players and the manager deals with them?
Basically, yeah. But he was, many coaches, it's not unusual to have GM coaches.
Right.
Or nowadays it's less usual than it was in those days. And very often the GM then comes back to coach, fires the coach and takes it over himself because most of them are ex-coaches.
Mike, how realistic is the film Youngblood with Rob Lowe?
I haven't seen Youngblood. I suspect because I thought it would not be realistic at all. And unlike Slapshot, would not be entertaining either. Although Slapshot was relatively realistic at the beginning in terms of minor league hockey in the Eastern Hockey League.
I think Harry should dig out the Youngblood trailer on YouTube and put it on our Facebook page. I think it's an underrated 80s film. Alrighty then, terrific stuff, Mike. Thank you very much for that. We'll talk a bit of baseball before we go, because Marek, you were enjoying the World Series, weren't you?
Yes, someone gave me their I've got to say his Game Pass is brilliant, and then the baseball one, is it called Game? Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I watched. I've supported the Dodgers. I'm supporting now. I've defected from the Indians.
Why is it? Well, that's a
I like
shame.
the colours. And the Indians are boring. I like the way the Dodgers play. So I watched
it's a bit like defecting from, say, West Ham, or Norwich to Chelsea.
That's not really. Quite Chelsea, Man City.
I never really got into baseball properly, so I just said the Indians because of
Man City,
Major League Baseball
too.
thing.
Fair enough.
So after watching it, I liked the Dodgers because a lot of their players are arseholes.
So they wouldn't make it in your Wolfsball league then? They wouldn't qualify if they're arseholes?
No, I mean, to be honest, their wage is probably about 50 million they're getting.
Yeah.
But currently, it's pounds and pence.
Would there be a place for Clayton Kershaw in your league?
He'd be very good, I think.
He probably would be good. Is there going to be a salary cap in the Wolfsball league?
It's too early to say. I mean, the first game's not even been played yet.
There's going to be a cap.
Right. There will be a cap.
They'll all have yarmulkes.
Oh, that kind of cap, yeah. Or like a hip hop cap in your ass.
Well, there's so many things to decide on, isn't there? It's incredible.
Apparently so.
I watched a lot of baseball. The big thing that's happened is Sandoval's gone to the Red Sox.
Hanley Ramirez.
And Hanley as well, yeah.
It's really weird.
Red Sox mean business. Well, yeah, Ramirez is a punt, isn't it? I mean,
It's funny, he started his career with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
But Ramirez is interesting because they don't have anywhere to play him. They're talking about putting him in left field, which means they'll have a real overload of outfielders. Remember, they had Mookie Betts. They moved from the infield to the outfield last year. And it leads me to suspect that they're going to engineer some kind of trade somewhere else. And Sandoval is more interesting because they need a left-handed bat. And he's actually not a bad third baseman, but I suspect in 2 or 3 years he'll eat his way off third base, and then it's either
eat third base,
DH or first base, and he's not as productive a hitter as you would want from a DH or first baseman. Although the current first baseman's Mike Napoli, and he's not as productive a hitter as you'd want from your first baseman either.
Yeah.
They're terrible to watch, the Giants. I can't believe they won. I watched a lot of the playoffs. I watched a lot of the end of the season. I really like watching the Nationals. So they're like a really exciting side.
And
all
the
games
Animals were as well. Yeah.
Hard to hate Bumgarner though.
Yeah, that's true. He is their saving grace because they're a very attritional, dull team. I agree, and I respect them a lot. I mean, look what they've done through 3 series in 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
But Bumgarner and Pfister, the best names in any sport.
Yeah, Pfister and Furbush.
Yeah, that's our Charlie
sitcom.
Furbush.
Yeah, that would be the sitcom with Vince Wilfork in Pfister and Furbush. He'd be the Sarge, and we'd have him. Or is one of the
my
desk
idea
sergeants.
was to get what's his name, Witherspoon from the
Tim
who
Witherspoon?
just retired. Not the fighter, the football player.
JD Witherspoon.
And Wolfork, and you could call it Fork and Spoon.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Here's one from Malk Walker, the Bodeans Mailbag.
Bodeans.
Thank you. It's great. I like that. Marek is my favourite Impractical Joker, of course. That's the hit BBC comedy you're on, Impractical Jokers. He steals food off of plates and isn't afraid of anything.
He's written and doesn't afraid of anything.
True, he did.
Which is ironic because the only thing I'm scared of is bad grammar.
Oh, Malk. Marek, you might have lost a fan there. Thanks, Malk. He was showing you some love, Marek.
Do you know, I went up for 5 Malcolm parts in a row a couple of years ago.
Really?
5 Malcolms.
And that's not very original writing if they're all called Malcolm.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's something about typecasting for you.
Is he bald and do his eyes pop out a little bit?
Don't know. It doesn't say on the tweet. It's just words on the page.
I'm doesn't afraid of anything.
There's an interesting piece in the Bodeans Mailbag from Patrick Jackson.
Yeah.
Complimenting the C4 NFL highlights show.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Because he says they're excellently written.
Oh, Hollywood
Which is
Dan.
our man Hollywood Dan.
It is.
Helping out on that.
Hollywood Dan.
And then he says he likes the home team commentators. You guys have the radio commentary, presumably?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And the Kansas City Chief guy says everything except the words touchdown in Kansas. But
yeah, at 100 miles an hour.
I keep repeating that Kansas City,
the
Kansas City Chiefs are not in Kansas. They're in Missouri.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
There's some of the Fox commentary on the games has been absolutely terrible this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting players' names wrong, just not even players from the other team with mixing the numbers up.
Yeah.
Awful.
They pissed me off as well with the last of the 3 Wembley games. Just going on and on about it, and they got Carissa. Is it Carissa Thompson?
Yeah,
Carissa's checking the field right now. So, or we get the point. You know, it wasn't that mashed up. I mean, for God's sake, it was a bit beaten up, but it wasn't as bad as everyone was making out. It didn't affect England at all. You know, it's a real interesting backtrack from Hodgson as well. He was obviously told to shut the fuck up by somebody because the press conference before that game, he was saying, well, you know, it wouldn't be advisable of me to comment on the field until after the game. Let's wait and see, which is kind of a reasonable point. But he's been so vocal about it in that week. And then guess what? The pitch plays really well. And as Carlson points out, it's a bad pitch for the opposition as well. It's not an advantage to one team or the other. Or disadvantage, I should say, to one team or the other particularly.
The other thing I'd like to point out to American football fans might find this annoying as well. Whenever I watch highlights on their NFL and they have clips of the game, so you can't watch a game or you're not watching Game Pass, it's the people like who's that? Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
And Michael Irvin commenting. So
Love
the guys
Irvin, not having a word against Irvin.
The guy, so the main presenter's telling you what's happened in the match, and in the background going, "Yeah, this could do a good thing. Yeah, man, that my man done a thing.
Woo! He's all over the place. You got to really sell yourself. If you're going to be on TV, you got to sell yourself. I was watching Michael Irvin do that thing when he said that was a white guy move, and the presenter's cringing on the side, and Deion Sanders walks off, and then Sanders pops up in the front of the set, in front of the Jimmy Jib, so he's full head. The whole screen is just his head going there. No. I said, I'm going to do that to Nat on our show one of these days.
It doesn't even make sense, their comments in the background. They don't make sense.
Well, what do you mean? They're talking...
So the guy's saying...
Fat potato, man! Fat potato! It's like fat potato! I love it!
Talking nonsense. So you're watching the Green Bay against someone highlights.
Yes.
And they're saying in the first down, Aaron Johnson did that, and they start going, my man, chocolate, man.
Inside Neptune's orbit! It was!
Just shut up and try to listen to the commentary. It's my biggest bugbear.
I know what you mean, yeah. I'm with you now. It is an acquired taste.
What is it? You think I just fell off the turnip truck?
Marek, as I say, at Marek Lowe, it is Marek's Twitter handle. Give him a big Americarnage bump. What are you up to next? Anything you want to plug other than wolfspoiler.com?
Oh, I do a film podcast called Film Fandango.
Oh, yeah. How's that going? Well, going good?
Just consistently saying that doesn't go up, doesn't go down.
Good.
I think people just download it, leave it on their computer, and never listen to it.
Never listen. Well, that
sounds like Marek's dick.
Whoa.
Never listen to my dick.
Whoa.
No, it doesn't go up, doesn't go down.
Consistent, just at one angle.
Fight and talk.
That'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
So that's a good thing to listen to. Film Fandango, and you get that on iTunes and SoundCloud. Is it on as well?
Yeah, some
products. Nice, good.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Thanksgiving night, I'll be down at the Sports Bar and Grill in Farrington hosting a Thanksgiving bash. All 3 games on offer there.
Where can you get tickets for that,
Thanksgiving
Mike?
Eventbrite.
Or on the door as well.
Or on the door, apparently. Limited edition tickets.
ChristopherBiggins.com.
I'm going to be auctioning 4 items of my own personal collection.
Right.
off, including a game-worn Scottish Claymores jersey.
Why don't you auction off? What's the charity that it's for? Do you know?
Probably my university.
Okay. We could auction off a guest spot on Americarnage if you want. It's for a charity. What should we do? We should do that.
Well, we should do that when we're all there, though.
Well, I don't know. You're a representative of Carnage.
We'll see.
Well, okay.
We'll see. We can make some money. We can make some money for the show.
We won't actually give it to. We will give it to the charity. We will, of course. We will
give it to the show.
Give it to the show. Exactly. That is technically a charity. Harry, what are you up to this week?
Rum.
Oh, okay. Progress for Harry. Terrific stuff. Don't forget to check me and Mike live on Channel 4 with the Sunday night game. Should be a goodie, Mike. You looking forward to it?
Absolutely.
1:25 we're on air for that one. And then the Monday night highlight show, which is on air usually kind of around 11-ish. Changed every bloody
Seems
week.
to get later all the time.
Yeah, that's promising, isn't it? No, it's all around about 11:30, I think. Channel 4, check that. Me and Vernon. But from him, Marek Larwood, I'm Mike Carlson, Harry the producer, and me, Nat Coombs. We've been Americarnage. Bye for now.
Alligator.
The jingles you hear on the show are by Nicky Spesh. Go to nickyspesh.com to find out more. The Americarnage theme was written and performed by Daystar, daystarband.com. Americarnage is a Mimo Interactive production.